Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to our next episode in our complete reading of Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. And in the previous episode, we saw how Manthara presented her second argument. Her first argument, she lost it. Her second argument also she lost because Kaikeyi came back and spoke about all the good qualities of Sri Ramachandra. And she said that whether it's Sri Ramachandra or Bharata, it would not make a huge difference for her because Sri Ramachandra would rule the kingdom in a very, very just way. Now Manthara is now putting up her third series of arguments and she's still trying to brainwash, and let us see what she's going to speak this time. She's saying, Anardhadarsini Maurkhyan Natmanam Maubudhyase Soka Vyasana Vistirne Majjanti Dukkhasagare. She's saying you are being pulled into an ocean which is filled with shoka, which is sorrow, and apada, which is threat. So you are being pulled into it and you are actually drowning into it, but then you are still not seeing your good thing here and you are still feeling happy. See, look at the amount of effort that is being put by Manthara to just brainwash. She's saying, Bhavita Raghavo Raja Raghavasyanuyah Sutaha Rajavamsattu Kaikeyi Bharata Parihasyade. Hey Kaikeyi, if Srirama becomes the king now, after him, who will become the king? His son will become the king, and then his son will become the king, and then his son. So, generation after generation, Srirama's sons and grandsons and great-grandsons will start becoming the kings, and Bharata's name will just get erased from the king's list of Ayodhya. And also, look at one more thing. You are thinking that Sri Ramachandra would rule for 100 years or so and give the kingdom to Bharata. No, that's not going to happen. Because have you ever heard that the sons of a king, all the sons of a king would become kings? No, that's not going to happen. Only one of them is going to be a king and going to rule for a long time. How did you forget this? And if that happens, I mean, if all the sons of a particular king would start succeeding him one after the other, that will be a huge loss to the entire country and to the family itself. So please don't live in that false hope. Tasmat Jyeshthehi Kaikeyi Rajitantrani Parthiva Sthapayantyana Vadyangi Gunavat Svitareshvapi. So, hey Kaikeyi, you are a beautiful lady, Kaikeyi. That's why the kings normally give the kingdom to their eldest son, or they choose one of their sons who is the best in terms of qualities and they give the kingdom to them. O Kaikeyi, your son will become an anatha. He'll lose all the comforts. He'll lose his name from the list of the kings who have ruled this particular country, and he'd be permanently lost. Look at the amount of fear that she is trying to instill, and Kaikeyi is still not relenting. Okay, now she is now putting another fear. Now she is realizing that Kaikeyi is not relenting even at this point of time. She still is believing in Ramachandra. So she's trying to put, till now said Bharata is going to lose this, lose that. Manthara has tried everything. Kaikeyi is not relenting. Hence Manthara is now bringing another streak of argument. She's saying, Dhruvantu Bharatam Ramaha Prapya Rajyamakantakam Deshantaram Vasayita Lokantaram Mathapiva. She's saying the moment Sri Ramachandra gets the kingdom, first thing he would do is, any king would do, is to ensure that there is no threat to him. And because Sri Ramachandra might perceive Bharata as a threat to him, he might send him outside the country, Deshantaram. And then she's taking the argument to a next level where she's saying Lokantaram. He might even send him away from this Loka, which means he might even kill. Like, can we even imagine? Can we even imagine that Sri Ramachandra would do any of this? No. But then, is there any evidence that Sri Ramachandra behaved like this before? No. But then, I want to dope someone. I want to change the mind of someone. Hence, I simply don't care. I'll create any number of lies to ensure that my argument is going to win. That's simply the strategy of Manthara here, and that's how she's trying to brainwash Kaikeyi. And again, Kaikeyi has not relented. She has still not spoken. Now, She has brought in another argument. Balayava hi matulyam bharato naitastvaya sannikarshascha sauhardham jayate sthavareshvapi. You made a mistake. Now she's again pointing to Kaikeyi and she's saying, you made a mistake. You sent Bharata, at a very young age to his maternal uncle's place, which is your brother's place. So Kaikeyi's brother's place is where Bharata is staying now, right? Mama. He's staying with his mama right now. And since you have sent him away there and he is staying there, how will the king have love for him? So you have killed the love for Bharata from the king. So Dasharatha has lost his love for Bharata and you are directly or indirectly responsible for it. Okay. And after that, she is again saying, Bharatasyanu vasikaha satrugnopi samangadaha lakshmanohi yadharamam tadhaso bharatangadaha. So Shatrughna, who constantly stays with Bharata, also has left. So there is no one to argue for Bharata here because Lakshmana is staying with Rama. So Lakshmana and Shatrughna, they both have become friends with, when Lakshmana has become friends with, Lakshmana has created a bond with Sri Ramachandra, Shatrughna has created a bond with Bharata. And since Shatrughna is also not here, who is going to stand? Had Shatrughna been here, he would have at least fought for the cause of Bharata. Now there is no one who is going to fight for the cause of Bharata in front of Dasharatha Maharaja. I mean to say, look at the levels to which she is stooping. Look at the amount of lies that she is inventing. Look at the amount of speculation that she is making, and she is trying to tell that no, he is not good. And then she is saying, the people who live in forests, when they want to break a tree, they will not break a tree or they will not cut a tree that is completely filled with vegetation. If the tree has got a lot of grass and all covering it, it's normally, they won't prefer, cutting the tree because it will take a lot of effort. They'll go for a tree which is not protected by creepers and all. If there are a lot of creepers on a tree, they know it's going to be a tough task and they're not going to cut it. Whereas if they see a tree which is not having too many creepers, which is straight, which is not having too much of grass on it, they probably will go and cut it. So you did not give the creepers of love to Bharata. Had you given those creepers of love to Bharata, had you made sure that Dasharatha Maharaja's love would be on Bharata like a creeper around him, Dasharatha Maharaja would not have taken the step. But now, no, you have sent him away and you have ensured that Dasharatha Maharaja does not love him the way loving Sri Ramachandra. Because of your mistake, Bharata now is going to lose the kingdom. Kaikeyi still does not resent. And then she's saying, Sri Rama and Lakshmana, they are staying together. So nobody can touch Sri Rama because Lakshmana is trying to protect him. Hence, Sri Ramachandra would not take any step against Lakshmana because he knows Lakshmana is his protective armor. But what is the guarantee that Sri Ramachandra would not take any bad step against Bharata? See, these are unimaginable things. Anyone who has read Ramayana, they know Sri Ramachandra's love, and we even see how Sri Ramachandra and Bharata would act with each other in a few episodes from now. But look at the amount of hatred and look at the amount of doping that Manthara is doing here. Now Manthara is saying, okay, now Sri Ramachandra might do anything to your son, so it's better that you send him away to forests or something from his maternal uncle's home itself. She's saying the 33rd sloka of Ayodhyakanda, Sarga number 8, Tasmad Rajagruhadevam Vanam Gachatu Mesutaha Edat Thirochite Mahyam Brusham Chapita Hitam Tava. So if your son would go to forest directly from his maternal uncle's place, I think he will be safe. Evante Jati Pakshasya Shreyaschayo Bhavishyati Yadi Ched Bharato Dharmat Pitriyam Rajyam Avapsyasi. Okay, if Bharata gets kingdom from his father, it will help you and your side of the family also. Even here, I mean, after saying so many lies also, after giving so many speculated scenarios, after trying to dope her in so many different ways, Manthara is looking if Kaikeyi would give a response, and Kaikeyi is not relenting. She is still saying, no. I mean, she does not speak, but at the same time, she does not accept the argument also, which means she's still with Ramachandra till here. Okay, and now she even says, Rama is going to take control of Bharata, like, a lion is going to take a elephant. So please save your Bharata. And Bharata is used to life which is filled with comforts. And since they are brothers, they are natural enemies. Look at the amount of speculations are here. And so how will Bharata be happy? Bharata's interests are not being safeguarded. All this stuff she says. Still she is not seeing the expected reaction in Kaikeyi. So now she realized that Kaikeyi is not going to listen anything ill of Sri Ramachandra. So she now brought her biggest weapon, and now she is saying, Darpan nirakruta purvam tvaya saubhagyavattaya Ramamata sapatnite kadham vairam nasatayet. Previously, because you were the most loved wife of Dasharatha, you looked down on Kausalya. And now that Kausalya's son is going to become the king, don't you think that she will look down on you and she'll pay it back to you as to what all evil stuff you did to her? And here we see Kaikeyi losing her stand for the first time now, because at some point of time Kaikeyi must have done this, and because Manthara is saying it, she said, you have done this. And since Kaikeyi is not saying, no, I did not do it. So for the first time here, we see Kaikeyi having a change of heart. And when she sees that, when she sees her expected reaction in Kaikeyi, she quickly is doubling up. Manthara is quickly doubling up and saying, Yadahi Ramah Prithvi Mavapsiti Prabhuta Ratnakara Saila Pattanam Tada Gamishyasya Shubham Varabhavam Nahaiva Dina Bharatena Bhamini. Hey Kaikeyi, understand this much. This, whatever I said to you just now, it's going to be a reality, because the day Sri Ramachandra is going to take the kingdom on the way, and he is going to get the lordship over the seas, the mountains, and the cities of this Samrajya. On the same day, you and your son will start getting dainya. Dainya is becoming dina, or losing control, you being in somebody else's control. Okay, and dainya also in a way means sorrow, helplessness, and all. And then she is saying, Yadahi Ramah Prithvimapsi Dhruvam Pranashto Bharato Bhavishyati Atohi Sanchintaya Rajamatmaje Parasya Chaivade Vivasa Karanam. She is saying, the moment Sri Ramachandra gets Rajadhipatya, Bharata is going to lose everything. Vinasha is going to come towards him, and hence you should think of a plan where Bharata gets the kingdom and Sri Ramachandra leaves the city at the same time. The last shots, these last three slokas had their needed effect on Kaikeyi, and here Kaikeyi becomes very, very angry, and she says, Evam muktatu Kaikeya kopena jvalitanana dirghamushnam viniswasya mandharam idam abravit. Now Kaikeyi got very angry. She finally gave in. She saw some sense in Manthara's argument, though that's not valid, but then she finally got, persuaded, or Manthara finally tasted success in persuading Kaikeyi. And now Kaikeyi is saying to Manthara, Adya Ram Mita Kshipram Vanam Prasthavayamyaham Yavvarajye cha Bharatam Kshipram Evabhishechaye. O Manthara, now I will send Sri Ramachandra to forest as quickly as possible, and I'll ensure that the kingdom is given to Bharata as quickly as possible. And for this, what should I do? Idam tvidanim sampasya kenopayena mandhare Bharata prapriyad rajyam natu Ramah kadhamchana. So she's saying, I really want Bharata to get the kingdom, and Sri Ramachandra should not get the kingdom. So what should I do to do this? Now you please tell me. And then Manthara became extremely happy because she actually won it. And then she says, Kimna smarasi Kaikeyi smarantiva niguhase idyuchyamanam mattasthvam srotumichasi. O Kaikeyi, you have the weapon with you, but you seem to have forgotten it. Why do you want to listen it from my mouth? And saying this, she says, Kadayatvam mayopayam kenopayena mandhare Bharata prapniyad rajyam naturamah kadanchana. O Manthara, you tell me. You're saying that I have the weapon, but you tell me how can I do it? Then Manthara, who is the Papadarshini, who has a lot of sinful thoughts in her mind, He is now saying, Tavadaivasure yuddhe saharajarshibhi padih agachatvam upadaya devarajasya sahyakrit dishamasthaya vaidevi dakshinam dandakan prati vaijayanta mitikyatam puram yatra timidhvajaha. You know, at one point of time, you actually went along with your husband for a Devasura Yuddha. Dasharatha Maharaja then, he went to fight on the side of Devas with Asuras, and the Asura with whom he went on to fight was Timidhvaja. Okay, and there Dasharatha Maharaja was doing a lot of fight with them. There was a huge fight that happened, and they injured Dasharatha Maharaja in many ways. And at some point of time, he lost his consciousness and he fell down on the Ratha. And then you, who were there along with him, you were actually doing the role of the charioteer. You saved him. And when Asuras again came and attacked him, you saved. And then, because you saved his life twice, Dasharatha gave you 2 boons. He said, whatever you want, I am going to do it for you. And he said, I'll do 2 things for you, right? And then you said to him that you will use those 2 boons at the time you want to use them. He has his word that he would do 2 things which are most pleasing for you. Now is the time for you to use those 2 boons that he has already given to you. Okay, so I think you must have forgotten, but you only told this story to me before. So now, because he has made everything ready for SriRamapattabhisheka, now it is a time for you to use these 2, and you ask him, Tauvarau yacha bhartaram bharatasyabhishechanam pravrajanam tu ramasya tvam varshani chaturdasa. So now you go back to him, or he comes to your room this night, he would break this news to you. At that point of time, you don't relent to him, you don't talk to him, and you ask for these 2 boons. One is Bharata should become the king in the place of Sri Ramachandra, and Sri Ramachandra should go away from the kingdom for 14 years. Because if you give Bharata 14 years without Sri Ramachandra, Bharata has the ability to make people forget Sri Ramachandra and essentially establish his rule as the king. And she is now saying, Krodhagaram pravisyadya krudhe vasvapade sute seshan Antarhitayantvam bhumau malinavasini. Now you go into your chambers, into the interior chambers of your palace, and there don't wear good clothes, wear clothes which indicate sorrow. Okay, and whenever Dasharatha enters that room, be on the floor, start crying, don't talk to him. Okay, and Dasharatha Maharaja would even jump into the fire to get you out of that sorrow. Okay, so use your time wisely and get these 2 boons. Like this, she says all this, and then once he comes to you, you ask for these 2 boons, and then he is not going to go back on his words. He is a good guy, he'll not go back. Hence, your desire to save your son would definitely succeed. Prapta kalantu manyeham rajanam vida sadhasa Ramabhisheka sankalpan nigruhya vinivartaya. Here she is directly telling, and see Kaikeyi, the way she became a tool in the hands of Manthara. Manthara is clearly telling here, I think she is using the word prapta kalam tute or prapta kalam numanye rajanam. So I think Dasharatha's days are numbered now. He might even die. Okay, so he might use that card also on you, but you should not relent. Like, see, I mean, once you become a tool in somebody else's hand, right? This is what happens. Even directly, Manthara is saying your husband might die, but even when you see that he's dying, don't relent and get your son to be the king. Kaikeyi, interestingly, is accepting this. Okay, and now she became very happy. Kaikeyi became very happy, and then she said, "Oh Manthara, you said so many good things. In this world, amongst all kubjas, you are the best. Okay, among all the people with a bent back, you are the best. Okay, and I'm telling you, I will paripurnam tu jaganam supinocha vayodharau vimalendu samam vaktaram aho rajasi mandhare." And oh Manthara, you are looking like a Rajahamsa to me. Okay, and you have so many good things in you. And I'll tell you one thing, I'll ensure that I'll cover your Jaghana or your waist with gold whenever Bharata becomes the king. Look at how Kaikeyi has changed simply because of this one argument. Okay, and then she's saying, I'll give you so many good clothes, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And she says all this, and now I'm going to show what I am to the king and all, she says, and she praises Manthara for a lot of time. I really don't want to get into all those details because, that's something that pains my heart. Anyways, Manthara again says, all that is good, but, you should ensure that Bharata is getting the kingdom. Kaikeyi gives into this. She enters the Kopagruha. She removes all her alankaras. She removes all the ornaments that she was wearing. She put them all on the ground, and she now was sleeping on the floor, crying and waiting for Dasharatha Maharaja to come. It's a very, very tough place to stop, but then we'll see how Dasharatha Maharaja comes and how Kaikeyi behaves in front of him in our next episode. And one lesson that we ought to learn from here is, just because she gave into she lost her thought process and she gave into what Manthara said. You would see a number of Kausalyas in this world. People name their daughters Kausalya, people name their daughters Sumitra, but have you ever seen anyone in this world who is naming his daughter as Kaikeyi? No, right? See, one argument, one weak moment, you give up your intelligence, and look at the trouble that you're going to face for the rest of, not just your life, for eternity. Nobody is going to even keep your name. That's how pitiable situation one gets into when they just lose their intellect and goes or gets persuaded by the wrong person. So that's the lesson that we ought to learn from this particular episode. We'll end this here, and in the next episode we'll see how Dasharatha Maharaja comes and how he is, he enters one of the toughest phases of his life. Then he enters Ma Kaikeyi's chambers. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pasyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Sarvam Swami Charanarvindar Pramastu. Swasti. Jai Shri Ram.